into the industry of design and development, that's one thing. But what about when you've been in and you leave for a little bit and you want to come back? How do you do that? I started my career a decade ago doing design, doing development, and I just started learning, like most people, how to design with a bootleg copy of Photoshop. But I started doing work for friends, I started doing work for family, all of it for free, and I turned that free work into an internship. And then I turned that internship into an in-house design gig. I took that in-house design gig and turned it into a job at a design agency. And right as I was on the verge of leaving that agency to move to Silicon Valley to take a huge opportunity, I turned it down to follow a dream of mine. I love design and I love development. I love my job. But I also have another passion, which is working with kids. And I got the opportunity for 3 years to go do that full time and just pour into junior high and high school students. And so I took that opportunity and went for it. And I kind of left my career to go do that. And if you want to travel, if you have a passion, if you have something you love to do, you should do it too. You should absolutely go chase your dreams. But what do you do when you want to come back? How do you get back into gear? Well, that's the problem I found myself in. And so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I did to help me get back into gear and get back into the industry. And so these are the 7 things I did to reboot my career. Number 1, never fully leave it. I know it's going to sound like a cop-out, but if you have some sort of passion or some sort of dream that you want to go follow, you should go do that. But don't leave everything behind. Don't leave all of the work and all the progress you've made. Do little things. Every little bit counts. So that means read a little bit, or if you're a designer, do little tiny design projects just for yourself. Post them on Dribbble or show them to friends. If you're a developer, play around with code. Just try to keep a little bit in your toolbox as you're away. One of the most beneficial things that I did while I was away from my career was I mentored people. Through a really up-and-coming educational mentor program, I was able to mentor for a couple hours a week people in UX design, in basic design principles, and in front-end development. And having people ask me questions really kept my mind sharp. And so although I wasn't doing 40 to 50 hours of work a week, I was doing 2 to 3. And that was kind of cool. Number 2, read and take notes for a week. You've been away for a while. You've probably missed a lot. There's a lot of things happening in your industry, whether it be design or dev, that you could really use to catch up on. And so I would say put everything else aside and just throw yourself into copious amounts of reading. There's nothing like being a well-read person. I don't care what industry you're in. Being well-read is always beneficial. Somebody who once mentored me told me no matter what industry you're in, either read or get out of your industry. So if you don't like to read, you should learn to like to read. So create an Excel spreadsheet, create a reading list of books you want to tackle, start visiting blogs and reading articles, read tweets, do whatever you need to do just to be a well-read person in your industry. And kind of 2.1 would be take notes and take notes by hand. It's been proven that if you take notes by hand, you are 50% more likely to retain the information than if you didn't take notes at all. Also, 100% more likely than those that don't read at all. Number 3, build a website in a weekend using technologies you already know. And so if you're a designer and you've only worked in Photoshop, use Photoshop. There's a lot of other really great tools that are coming out that we're going to talk about later. But if you know Photoshop, design a website in Photoshop in a weekend and then deliver that website to a friend or to a colleague. Let them see what you've done. If you're a developer and you know HTML and CSS and jQuery maybe, but you don't know React, you don't know pre-processing, you don't know these other cool technologies you've heard about, don't worry about them. Just do what you know in the time that you can. So make like a little one-page something, make a small little app, make something this weekend that will help you kind of shake the dust off. Creating this website in a weekend is going to do a couple things for you, and here's what they are. Number one, it's going to start retraining you to create things. Number two, it's going to retrain you to assess your workflow. So it's going to train you not to bite off more than you can chew. So what can you do in a weekend? What are you capable of? Only do that. Don't try more. Number three, it's going to retrain you to deliver a finished product. If you've been away for a while, you might have gotten used to designing things, starting things, but never finishing things. And this is going to give you, number four, that sense of completion. That's a really good feeling. Finish it, complete it, show it off, post it on all your social networks and your design or development communities. Let people see your work and feel good about it. Number four, build a project using technologies that you want to know. This is where the training wheels really come off and you start learning again. You start diving into modern technologies because people are going to want them. They don't want you to design or develop using old antiquated things. They want a good workflow. They want efficiency. They want productivity, and they want what's best for their product or their company or their clients. And so if you're a developer, a lot of amazing things have happened and in the last 6 years or so. And so I'm going to put a list of them down in the description for you to go check out. If you haven't been task running with something like Grunt or Gulp.js, maybe check that out. It makes your workflow really, really easy. If you're not into pre-processing for front-end dev, like with Sass or Less, I would try it. There's a lot of really great JavaScript frameworks that have come out recently, like Backbone or React or Ember or Angular. I would check those out. Maybe especially React. It's looking good. If you're a designer, there is amazing new sets of design tools that are just for you to make your workflow better. It depends on what your kind of speciality is, but I'll recommend a few down in the description and a couple right now. You know, if you're used to working with only Adobe, we love you, but there's other things that are coming out that are looking real good. Sketch for Mac is a solid option that is amazing, especially for web and product designers. It's kicking butt. Figma is really good. It's like a collaborative design tool. Webflow is literally everything done, like moving things around in the browser, and it spits out the code for you. Adobe, I haven't forgotten you. Experience Design looks pretty cool. I'm checking it out right now. Maybe you guys should too. There's other things for designers, like prototyping tools are really, really huge, or font management, or grid frameworks. Check all of those out, okay? And pick a couple of them that will help you kind of build your site and go to town. Number five, listen and learn by osmosis, AKA start being a podcaster. There's a lot of noise out there, and I'm actually usually a person who encourages people to find silence and just rest a little bit. But if you're getting back into the industry, you need to be around people and have lots of conversations about your craft and about your skill set. It's hard to find that many meetups. And so I would recommend just finding some really, really great podcasts and plugging into those when you are commuting, when you're walking to work, when you're doing chores around the house, when you're getting your shopping done. I would recommend just tuning in and really just listening to what some of the leaders in your industry have to say about your industry. I'll put a list of links in the description and check those out and anything else that sounds good to you, but just start tuning in. Number six, stop watching Netflix and start watching YouTube. Netflix is kicking cable's butt right now, and it is amazing after a hard day of work just to binge a little bit and get that guilty pleasure in. But I'm telling you, put it aside for a week and start watching YouTube. YouTube is one of the most amazing content rich areas on the web. It's similar to listening, it's similar to reading, but now it's watching. Use every sense that you have to dive back in to your industry. There's a lot of really great channels that I watch and that I'll recommend down in the description, but I also hope that this channel becomes a pretty decent one as well. And so let me know down in the comments what kind of things that you'd like to see. Let me know what kind of things you'd like to learn about and hear about, and I'm going to start trying to make as much great content because I know what it is to need good content. Last one, number 7. Start following and subscribing and basically stalking people who are making big moves in your industry. On all of your social networks, you should be following these people. on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, if you can find them. I'm not even sure. But on anything that you tune into, you need to have these people saturating your life and really influencing you. That's why they're called influencers. Let them do their job. This last one is not on the list of 7, but it is something that's really important. Don't be intimidated. It can be scary. And there's a lot of people who are better than you. But in the words of Mr. Miyagi, there's always somebody that knows more karate than you. You can really start getting freaked out. Like, what am I doing? I'm not sure if this was the right move. Am I still relevant? Can I do this? And the answer is, yeah, you can. If nobody else is telling you that you can do it right now, let me be the one to tell you. You can do it. Things change. Trends change, technologies change, fads change. Solid design principles, ironclad code, and your consistency and hardcore work ethic, those things don't change. They don't have to. You can do it. Take it easy. Hard part is I want to be more energetic. I don't have coffee in me yet. Okay.